Hi guys, this is Jeff at Slavens Racing. And this video is about a tire that I've been testing for quite a while, the Kenda IBEX. So it's the one here on the right, the one on the left is the Shenko Cheater, and we'll talk just briefly about that here in a minute. So guys have been asking me about this tire for a long time. When are you going to get the test done? When are you going to give us some more information? Well, I've been pretty overwhelmed with new stuff this year. I mean, these 17 bikes, obviously everything was new, and so I had a lot of testing to do. And then the tire companies, I mean, we've been getting tire after tire. Companies have just been throwing tires at me this year, way more than ever before. And, you know, there's only so many hours of the day that I get to ride, unfortunately. But anyhow, I've tested this IBEX. I've got this one that's obviously a brand new one, but I just took one off my bike. I should have saved it. I'm sorry I forgot. But it was still in really good condition, and it had about 450 miles on it. I finally took it off just so I could get on with testing some other tires, but it was by no means done. And I usually take rear tires off around 300 miles because if the tire knobs aren't worn out, the carcass is. And the carcass was getting a little bit tired on the Kenda at 450 miles for me. But I ride, you know, extreme conditions, really rocky, rooty trails. The harder the better. And those are a little bit harder on tires than some easier trails would be. So this IBEX, it's a home run. I mean, this is an excellent, excellent tire. And so let's start out with some of the tire construction here. And I'll get out my little durometer gauge. Hopefully you can see this in the video. Doing this one-handed here. But you can see, you know, the durometer's in the low 50s, 52, 54, right in that range. And just as a reference point, that is a real equivalent to the competition version trials tires out there, like the Dunlop 803 or the Michelin. Those are both real popular tires for actual trials competitors. And so this compound is, as far as the durometer rating, is right in there with them. It's a very gummy tire. You know, you can just twist these knobs. See if you can see it here. Yeah, and you can see it's easy to twist. And so that begs the question of, wow, does it chunk knobs? It didn't for me. And I abused it. When I'm testing tires, I try to tear them up. You know, I do stuff that I don't do that I would not do normally when I'm riding, because I try to ride real smooth and not have the tire lit up all the time. But when I'm testing, you know, if I get into some nasty climb or something, I'll spin it harder, just see if I can shred it and stuff like that. But it did not chunk whatsoever. Side knobs, center knobs, no chunking, no signs of chunking, no cracks at the base of the knob. The wear was very, very good, and the traction is phenomenal on this tire. The guys are always asking me about like the Sedona and some of the other tires we sell. Well, I ride all these varied conditions, you know, mud, sand, rocks, roots, ruts, loam, whatever. They're wanting a tire to do everything well, and that's a pretty tough bill to fill. But this tire can do it. You know, it's not the best sand tire out there, because a true sand tire would have even wider spacing. This being the spacing, this is called C, and this is called land. That's a term, land and C, that tire companies use. You know, a true sand tire has even wider spacing and taller knobs and a harder knob so that it doesn't bend over. So it's not the best sand tire, but it would do well in sand. It would definitely do well in mud because it is a pretty wide spacing. But yet it does very well in the rocks and the roots. I mean, slimy rocks and roots, stream crossings. Colorado, we don't get a lot of real deep mud, but we do get a lot of slimy, muddy conditions during what we call the monsoon season, which we're in right now. And it works exceptionally well on that. The only downside to this tire is the price. It's about $100. whereas you can get this tire next to it, the Cheater, for like $65, I think. So that's the downside of it. I think the pricing will be coming down late this year. There's some other sizes of these coming in. Right now they're only available in the 120, 118, and they're going to be available in about a month and a half in the 110, 118. Now this tire, you know, it is a big tire, and actually it's bigger than I like to have on my 300, but it worked very well on the 300. Whenever the 110s come out, I will switch over to that, but there's nothing wrong with running this 120. You can run this on your 250, 300, your 450, 500, 350, whatever. It works very well. But let me re-emphasize, this is a fantastic tire. This is one of my favorites, if not the favorite right at the moment. It's got a good carcass to it. Not quite as beefy as I'd like to see, but it is good carcass. Doesn't seem to cut real easily. It's got a great knob pattern. It's got a great rubber compound. And it just works phenomenally. I mean, it has incredible traction. Incredible. Adam works for us. He tried one last week, and he was pretty well blown away by it as well. So let's talk about this one right next to it for just a second. This is the Shenko Cheater, which is also a phenomenal tire. We've got a lot of these out there right now, and they're getting a lot of great feedback from customers and friends and people that I have used in the past for testing, and I have ridden with, and I know their not just their riding abilities, but their abilities to feel their bike. And I've gotten a lot of excellent feedback from everybody on this Shenko Cheater. It's also a winner, and it definitely has a better price point. But for you guys in mud back east or in the northwest where you get a lot of mud, this would be the better tire just because of the more open pattern. In the drier states like Colorado, all the Rocky Mountain region, that's pretty hard to beat the Cheater. It's an excellent tire for a great price point. So I think that's about all I have to tell you on these. I'm sure I'm forgetting something like I always do. But these are both very worthy tires to consider. And you know, guys are gonna, I'm sure you're gonna be sending me texts or making comments on the video. Well, how's it compared to the Sedona? There's nothing wrong with the Sedona. It's still an excellent tire. And it's a great tire, and it's great for a lot of conditions. This, I think, beats it, but it does have a considerably higher price point. So that's all for now.